Following the Russian invasion, the West provided Ukraine with an endless supply of armaments, although the total amount of weaponry given to Ukraine is yet unknown. It is certain that they were expensive, costing millions of dollars. You see, in order to pursue the US agenda of defeating Russia, these Western nations left no stone unturned to assist Ukraine. But what Zelensky is doing with these weapons might surprise you. Hello and welcome to TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm your host Vedika, and if you haven't subscribed to the TFI Global channel yet, hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon to receive all the latest updates. We all know that Ukraine's economy is in tatters. Ukraine has almost gone into bankruptcy. Economic stagnation has inundated Kyiv. Before the Russian invasion, Ukraine's economy relied mainly on the export of food grains to the rest of the world. It exported on average about 6 million tons of agri-commodities monthly to the countries in the Middle East, Asia, and Africa. As a matter of fact, even after the onset of war, Zelensky could have easily exported food grains to the rest of the world and could have helped revive the battered Ukrainian economy. But no, Zelensky didn't opt for this. Instead, he pushed the entire globe into a terrible food crisis by blocking the export of food grains. Make no mistake, Moscow used every effort to persuade Kyiv to resume wheat shipments. Instead, it was Ukraine that was causing trouble for the rest of the globe with access to its highly sought-after food reserves. You see, Ukraine has been demanding anti-ship missiles from Europe ever since the Russia-Ukraine war broke out. The warring country unreservedly refused to release the shipments of wheat from its ports until its demands for anti-ship missiles from Europe were met. Moreover, Zelensky tactfully asked for grants rather than loans to revive the Ukrainian economy post-war, so that he is not obliged to pay this money back to the donor country or organization. This, however, was not enough to satisfy Mr. Zelensky's gluttony. To line his pockets, he is doing something that might shock you. There is overwhelming evidence that many of the weapons that the US, UK, and other NATO nations lavishly delivered to Ukraine during its confrontation with Russia have ended up on the dark web. The Ukrainian traders claim to offer not just small arms or body armor on the dark web, but also such sophisticated hardware as Javelin and NLAW anti-tank systems of Phoenix Ghost and Switchblade explosive drones. Israeli cyber intelligence specialist KELA has found gun listings supposedly posted by Ukrainians on several darknet markets, some specialized in firearms. One of the vendors even offered a US-supplied Javelin ATGM anti-tank missile system for $30,000. The seller has set their location as Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine. In fact, the traders also claim to supply these weapons across the borders. When inquired anonymously if the Phoenix Ghost could be delivered to an area outside Ukraine, specifically the Polish border town of Przemysl, the trader agreed to supply the weapon just at extra cost. This potentially suggests that Poland's border guards are involved in facilitating the whole supply of these weapons. Now the question is, what are the implications of this act? You see, the dark web definitely acts as an enabler of arms trafficking, with weapons and ammunition having to be shipped and delivered in the real world. And the potential impact is obviously on the internal security of any country. In fact, we have already witnessed numerous lone wolf terrorist attacks in Europe of late. The wave of terror engulfing the European cities is indicative of the grave implications of putting out weapons for sale on the dark web. Zelensky will move heaven and earth to satisfy his avarice. Additionally, the above-mentioned episode demonstrates that maintaining Ukraine's territorial integrity was never his goal. Rather, he was only concerned with ways of minting money.